Elon Musk commented on Twitter that the country's education system and media atmosphere are racist against white and Asian people. Now, this came after a bunch of newspapers ended up dropping the Dilbert cartoon creator Scott Adams, who had remarked that nearly half of Black Americans could not agree with the phrase, "it's okay to be white." And he said, this was in a recent survey, and he said, I think that white Americans maybe should get the hell away from black people if that many black people think it's not okay to be white. So here is the string of Elon's tweets here. So he's responding to Adam's comments. He says here, "The media is racist," and underneath, "For a very long time, U.S. media was racist against non-white people. Now they're racist against whites and Asians. Same thing happened with elite colleges and high schools in America. Maybe they can try not being racist." And I couldn't agree more. I would like to also point out that these comments are coming from an African American.
Yeah. Listen, we're seeing this across the board, right? You got United Airlines now has come out and vowed that they're going to have more diversity in their pilots. And I'm like, I don't care.
Can you just give me the pilot who doesn't crash the plane?
Yeah, I don't care what color you are, dude. I just want to know you can fly. And
that's scary.
It is scary. It is scary. I mean,
it's not as scary as an all-female cockpit. All right, next question. Sorry, go ahead. I'm kidding. We love women that can fly planes. I've never gotten off a plane because I saw 2 female pilots before.
It has made me think twice, though.
Yeah, I've definitely got scared to death. Actually, I have gotten off a plane when I saw 2 female pilots, but that's not neither here nor there.
I've gotten off a plane with 2 female pilots.
Yeah. Okay, we're not here to talk about the sex of our pilots, so we're here to talk about racism. And let's on this month, the greatest month of the year, Black History Month, February, the shortest month, unfairly. Yeah. I think Scott Adams, he not only got his Dilbert canceled, but I believe his future book deals and his book agent dropped him. So I believe he needs to lose his mortgage. Yeah, he just tweeted that he should not even have the right to live. They need to cancel his credit cards and give him the Kanye West treatment.
I mean, legitimately, like, how is that possible? Maybe if you just read just him saying, "get the hell away from black people," right? But once you, I don't know, crack that open and read it a little bit more and understand the context in which he was saying it, you're still gonna tell him he needs to be exiled from the country because he was responding to a survey in which the actual problem was black people are racist against white people. That's what he was responding to.
I doubt a lot of black people were hanging out with him anyway, really, but
yeah,
it's Dilbert. But yeah, I mean, what he said, listen, a lot of times people say some pretty audacious things, present company included, to get a point across, to make a point. I get what he was trying to say. It was stupid. I think you get to a point where it's like you're just so frustrated with a situation and a scenario that you just don't even know any other way to do it, but you just kind of say it in a flabbergasted way. And that was kind of my takeaway when I heard it. I was like, well, that was a dumb thing to say, but I get what you're trying to say.
Right.
I mean, it is okay to be white, but again, if it's a phrase that's out there and suddenly the mainstream says, oh, well, okay, well, that's a racist dog whistle. You say that and you're trying to, just anything. If I say, don't tread on me or 1776 or something like that, that's racist. Well, who determined that? Who determined that? I mean, we're just making a point of fact. It is okay to be white. You didn't have anything to do with it.
Right.
I mean, LeBron James didn't have anything to do with being born 6'9".
Yeah. So there's this one specific troll on Twitter that I have that it just cracks me up because he screenshots my tweets and then tries to use them later against me. And I'm like, yes, I said that. And to my point, one of the ones that he's constantly screenshotting and putting in my tweets is when I tweeted out black supremacy is a greater threat to America than white supremacy. And I'm like, this survey proves what I just said is true. Nearly half of black Americans think that it's not okay to be white. Can you imagine if there was that kind of statistic when white Americans were asked, is it okay to be black?
No, I mean, it's really a tough situation because it's not black and white, it's very gray, and there is a certain issue of tribalism that is important, or we should stay kind of in our tribes, and there's obviously importance where we should, be a melting pot and mix with other people, but this is what we're not talking about, the media wants to talk about the racism between white and black people, but we don't talk about the gun violence between the black community on black people. We don't talk about the racism of black people and Chinese people. I'm just saying there's a lot of other race relations that we're talking about, that we have race issues, and what Scott Adams said was not the most most eloquent way of saying like, oh, we should maybe stick to ourselves. But really, in this day and age, like to not become a target because the race relations have got so insane. My best advice is kind of stay by yourself. I mean, I don't really know what else to do. I'm not saying that we shouldn't integrate or be around people with different cultures, but it's like in this day and age, get away from all cultures almost. They're all out to get you.
Listen, we're dealing with a couple, and God, I can't even get into the sociological aspects of all of this stuff. But listen, you know, if you have a tendency to only be surrounded by a certain type of people, you're going to think, okay, this is my tribe, to use the phrase you use, this is my tribe. Everybody outside of that is a potential enemy, okay? And then you're being told. So, you know, you got a lot in the black community who, you know, they were born to teenage mothers and the father wasn't involved. And so they were basically raised by the grandparents. The grandparents lived in Jim Crow America. That's the narrative that they passed on. That's the history they passed on. And they still think that the world's operating that way. You know, Mark Twain, and this is a huge paraphrase, but he said, nothing destroys prejudice like travel, and nothing destroys travel like prejudice. You don't want to break outside of that circle because you are already prejudging, you're prejudiced against anything on the outside. And that's what happens. If you grow up in an urban black community, you grow up down in the holler with the rednecks, you think that that's your world and anything outside of it is suspect, right? And so we have this cloistered provincial mindset anyway that we haven't broken out of. And you would think with things like the internet and the reach of communication and travel that we would have more ability to get out there and actually know other human beings. And I think by and large that is the way the world operates. But again, we're being told that this is still a major problem.
Yeah.
If you like that clip, there is plenty more where that came from. Click the link in the description below to subscribe to the News and Why It Matters YouTube channel to watch the full episode.